once more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is Sonoma County's News Talk. K245DJ Petaluma, K278CD KSRO Santa Rosa.
From ABC News, I'm Daria Alder. Criminal charges for a driver in a deadly crash at a bus stop in Texas.
Police in Brownsville say they don't know yet if mowing down a group of migrants was intentional, and they don't know if the driver was drunk. That driver, now identified by police, is 34-year-old George Alvarez. Brownsville Police Chief Felix Saceda.
He has been formally charged and arraigned with 8 counts of manslaughter, 10 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Alvarez is a Brownsville local with a long rap sheet. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Federal investigators are looking into whether the gunman who killed 8 people at a Dallas area mall was a white supremacist. They say Mauricio Garcia's social media included posts which expressed an interest in that and neo-Nazi views. Sign of the times, lawmakers in one state have proposed a plan that will allow kids to be trained in how to react in emergency situations like school shootings.
Public schools here in Texas are being equipped with so-called bleeding stations with compression bandages, tourniquets, and plastic sheets for sealing chest wounds. A bill in the State House would have kids as young as 8 being trained to use them. The goal, says Surgeon Rob Carpenter, is to
give them not only the resources but the education that's necessary in order for these young people to be able to take care of one another, let alone to be able to take care of a teacher.
He says the bleeding station can be used not only for shooting victims, but for fall victims or kids who suffered sports injuries. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
A letter to Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer that was signed by 43 Republican senators is warning that they'll filibuster any bill to raise the debt limit, which does not also include substantial spending and budget reform. The government could begin defaulting on debt payments in about 3.5 weeks from now. New York City jury is hearing closing arguments from a lawyer for E. Jean Carroll, the writer accusing former President Trump of sexually assaulting her in a department store dressing room. You're listening to ABC News.
If you own a small to medium-sized business that kept employees on payroll through COVID, you may have a big cash refund waiting for you. The Employee Retention Credit is a tax credit of up to $26,000 per employee. And now, more businesses than ever qualify. The experts at RefundsPro.com specialize in cutting through the red tape of qualifying for this government program. Most of their refunds are over $100,000. Even businesses that have received PPP funds may be eligible. And there are absolutely no fees unless you receive a refund. So there's no reason not to apply. If your business experienced shutdowns, limited capacity, supply chain challenges, or reduced revenue due to COVID, you likely qualify. RefundsPro.com has already helped hundreds of businesses. So don't lose the refund you're owed by missing the deadline. Get started today with a free 5-minute questionnaire at RefundsPro.com. That's refunds with an S, pro.com.
Officials in Rockland County, New York are responding to a plan by New York City Mayor Eric Adams to house hundreds of migrants at a hotel there.
As we see things like this happen, that those lifelines get stretched, and stretched. And eventually they end up in the water. And there's nothing to help anybody. We cannot have that. We will not have that.
County Executive Ed Day announcing a state of emergency. He says the county is not prepared to provide the resources to the migrants. A former girlfriend of Tiger Woods has filed suit against the pro golfer. She's disputing several agreements she claims that he attempted to force her to sign throughout their relationship.
Court papers detail a scheme Woods created, telling Herman the two were taking a weekend trip to the Bahamas. But at the airport, she claims a lawyer repping Woods said she would never see Mr. Woods again, had been locked out of the house and could not return. She would not even be able to see the children or her pets again. Herman saying she was asked to sign another NDA, which Bruce Carroll Callahan was taken into custody a week after he and another inmate escaped the Piedmont Regional Jail. Authorities believe they manipulated faulty locks to get out. This is ABC News.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Daria Albinger, ABC News.
The news that matters most is the news that hits closest to home. Cloverdale, Windsor, Petaluma. If it breaks, we're there. If it touches your family, your schools, your city, or your safety, we've got it covered. We're here to make sure you always know what's coming and how to prepare. You need to know what's happening right now, and this is the place to find out. Because Santa Rosa is our home too, and we're all in this together. Sonoma County's FM News Talk, KSRO.
I'm KSR Rosedale and Tresillos with Sonoma County's most accurate, most dependable forecast. Going to be warming up this week. Today topping out at just 64 degrees with sunny skies in the afternoon, 56 along the coast. Wind speed through mile. Cloudy skies overnight, low 44. Mostly sunny then for the rest of the week. High 60s for Tuesday and Wednesday. Mid-70s for Thursday, and then Friday getting into the low 80s. Depend on weather every 30 minutes. And FM News Talk 103.5 and 96.9 KSRO.
Headquarters in New York City. Always seeking solutions, never sowing division. It's Brian Kilmeade.
Man, what a consequential week we have today. Think about what's going on. Thank you so much for being here at 48th and 6th, Midtown Manhattan, right around the country, around the world. So crazy things going on right now in New York. You have Mayor Adams. We have 60,000+ illegal aliens been shipped here from Texas and Arizona, right? And they've come here. About 44,000 are still left in 167 different locations. They're now going to convert JFK old hangars to put beds in there. Really? What are they going to do when they're not sleeping? There's nothing there. So they're going to convert all these old places. So you know what Mayor Adams says? I'm going to go send them to different counties in in our suburbs, in Rockland and Orange County. I'm sure it's going to be Nassau and Suffolk. And just so you know, there are places in New York City which are as dense as possible, and then you go to suburbs and it looks like typical suburbia USA, and then you have rural America in upstate New York, and Mayor Adams does not have the power to ship these people around, I don't think. Plus, they're not sanctuary counties. New York City made themselves a sanctuary county, so now they're at war. The front page of the New York Post right now, at war with each other as Mayor Adams tries to overstep. So when a bus arrives at a would-be facility booked without anybody in that county knowing it, do they say, don't open the door, the cops come? I mean, think about how crazy this is, because this president won't undo he won't actually enforce the border, never has. So, you got Title 42 expiring on Thursday. On Wednesday, James Comer comes with these big revelations about the Hunter Biden investigation. And on Tuesday, you have a big meeting raising the debt ceiling. The credit of our country's at stake. With me right now, Michael Goodwin, New York Post columnist and award-winning New York Post columnist, just got another great award. His latest one is honored by the New York State Shield for his dedicated writing and support through the journalistic lens of law enforcement. Congratulations on the award, Michael.
Thank you, Brian. It was a lovely event. I must say this New York State Shields group just does a terrific job of really loving the families of fallen officers, and it's heartbreaking and yet inspiring to see that this kind of fraternity exists, and such a diverse group of families who all lost loved ones in the line of duty. It was a pleasure and a great humbling honor to be among them.
Yeah, well earned. Another one of your many awards. You're going to need the Goodwin Library soon. And it's going to be open from 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, with weekends for special service. You can rent it out too for different events.
You've given me some food for thought, Brian.
There you go, the Goodwin legacy. So Michael, the front page of the New York Post today is a national story. A mayor deciding, I'm going to send some of my illegal immigrants over to Orange County and Rockland County, and they're pushing back big time. And they're going to go to the mat to push back. Who's going to win this?
Well, it is an ironic situation because Adams, the mayor of New York City, of course, complained about the governor of Texas sending migrants to New York. And the fact is, Governor Abbott of Texas sent several thousand perhaps 5,000 or 6,000, which is really just a drop in the
Watch out. Pothole on road ahead.
bucket of the total number. As you said, it was approaching 60,000. No one knows for sure. All they can do now is more or less just count the ones in city facilities, and those are upwards of 40,000. So they're not really sure if the others left, if some of them left, if they're found friends or relatives or some kind of private accommodations. So it just points up the absurdity of the border situation. So Adams complains about the governor of Texas, but now Adams becomes the source of shipping them to other areas. So don't forget, about 2 months ago, he wanted to send hundreds of them to an upstate community college, and the city would pay for them to go to community college. I mean, these people are not even legal residents in the United States. The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, talked recently about helping them get work authorizations and to be able to stay in the country permanently. Hold on here. These people got an asylum claim, and under our foolish laws, they're allowed to wait in the United States until the asylum claim is adjudicated. But that may take 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So the idea that we are paying for lawyers and groups like Catholic Charities to go into Mexico, coach them on how to make an asylum claim, and then ship them around the country once they're in the border, with the Border Patrol just becoming clerks, just taking down their name and address or their name in some way to reach them, a cell phone number or something, and then to tell them later. But they're in the wind. They're not coming back. They're not going to leave the country. This is all on Joe Biden, but I'm happy to see Eric Adams is now on the side of those who say it's too many, it's too much, because he foolishly said, well, New York is a sanctuary city, let them come here. Well, they came, and now he can't handle it.
And we're paying
as you say,
for it.
there are these shelters all over the city, including the police training center, which is not being used right now, but they've turned that into a shelter. I mean,
yeah, there's
no
122 emergency shelters, 8 large humanitarian relief centers, and more have to be built. They're also looking to send them to 170-room inn suites in Orange County, and then one in Rockland County. And the people there go, whoa, you're not even telling us what's going on, so they're going to fight it out. Meanwhile, we have Senator Kristen Sinema saying there's no communication at all with the local governors, and there's no communication with local sheriffs, yet this is all our problem. Listen to what she says, and I give her credit for speaking out. Cut 11.
We also are very concerned that all of this is happening in the week or so before the rollout. Just today, I was on the phone with the sheriff of Cochise County. He has gotten no information from the Department of Homeland Security or the federal government about what the flow is going to look like, about what they can expect for processing in terms of how long it takes to process migrants. He's gotten no information, neither have I, about how many buses there will be available to transport migrants. Now, he's gotten the information he does have from me, because I call him every few days, but he's not gotten that information from the Department of Homeland Security.
And that's the story. They say they do, and they go turn the borders closed. It's not. They say they do communicate. They don't. The White House is in constant communication. They aren't, and they just let it happen. And this stuff, I cannot get this video out of my head that Bill Maloogian shot and that Elon Musk retweeted. Just wrote, "Wow." There's a line as far as you can see from our drone video of people lined up knowing they're going to be staying there for 2 days. Single men coming into our country with no luggage. Just standing. What are they doing? I mean, are you kidding? You can't just walk into, let's say I want to walk into Hungary. Let's say I want to walk into France. I want to walk into Saudi Arabia. How's that going to go? We're the only country that is this stupid.
It is remarkable. I mean, and you know, Brian, I have to confess, there was a period there where Fox was the only one really covering this day in, day out, where I stopped watching the stories because it just made me, I couldn't believe that we are just letting this happen to our country. As Donald Trump says, he says it correctly, if you don't have a border, you don't have a country. And that's what's happening here. Every country in the world has borders that are enforced. We have stopped enforcing the border law, and the world wants to come here, and you can't blame them from the countries they're coming from. So it's not on them, it's on us. We did this to ourselves. I mean, I cannot imagine a larger self-inflicted wound by a president, certainly in my history.
Well, I tell you this, I'm heartened by the fact that the American people are calling him out on it. He's got 36% approval rating among Democrats. 58% of Democrats want somebody else. How has he handled the economy? Well, 54% say Trump handled it better. 36% say Biden handled it better. Finally, I don't care what you think of his hairstyle or his attitude. People are just looking at their wallets. Losing ground to Trump, big time. Independence. He was plus 13 on Election Day 2020. Now he's minus 9. For African Americans, he had 75% of the African American vote. Now it's down to 35% of the African American vote. Head to head with Trump, 44-38, Trump's winning. Undecided's 18%, that's significant. Against DeSantis, it is 48-41. So both men are beating Joe Biden on pure performance.
Yeah, and you know, Brian, that poll was stunning in the sense of all of those categories, what gaps there were. And it really feels to me as though Joe Biden is now reaching the point of no return. I mean, you are deep into your administration. You have had time to do your will. You have your policies, your reactions to events, what you've shaped, what you responded to. It's all in the books now. There's no hiding.
Watch out. Construction on road ahead.
There's no blaming Trump anymore. This is your economy. This is your country. And people are looking and they're saying, I don't like this. This isn't good. This isn't working for me. And then, of course, you look abroad and you see the weakness and you see this fear of World War III is coming. So I don't know how Joe Biden fixes this. I don't see a path for him to do better because.
But do they poll him, Michael? Do they poll him?
Well, the question is, do they tell him, right? Does he know? Does he understand? But I think that even if you close the border today, which he's not going to do, you still have about 6 million people here who are awaiting these hearings for the most part, or who just crossed without any kind of registration.
Yeah.
They're just illegal immigrants now, with no right to be here whatsoever. So I don't know how he fixes these things. How does he fix inflation? How does he fix the debt? All of these issues, I think, are now, it's almost too late for him to have any credibility.
But I'll tell you what, it's not too late to have that meeting Tuesday and make something happen. So he said, I don't know, I'll tell him in person what I've told him before, even though they haven't spoken in 96 days, haven't met, Kevin McCarthy, that I'm not dealing, I want a clean debt ceiling bill. Senator James Langford reminded me, maybe not our audience and maybe not you, that they did raise the debt ceiling under Trump. But Trump actually had to pay the price for it. Listen to this, cut 26.
Go back to 2017, Senator Schumer said that the debt limit was leverage for Democrats to be able to negotiate with President Trump. When at that time Senator Biden was there under the Bush administration, there were 5 different debt ceiling votes during that time. He voted for one, he voted no on 2 of them, and on 2 of them he didn't even show up to vote. On the 2 that he voted no on, he put out a statement saying that the world has changed and that we need to raise taxes at this point. So he was using that time to raise taxes. Speaker Pelosi used that leverage with President Trump to increase spending around the debt limit. So it seems very odd every time there's a Republican that's involved in the debate, suddenly the media talks about, oh, there's going to be this great calamity. We've always paid our bills, but Democrats and Republicans have both used this moment to be able to look at it and say, let's talk about where we're going, what's the direction, what's the future.
I mean, people just got to realize this. We were down this road before. I forgot that Nancy Pelosi got spending out of the president. So did Schumer. They both did, twice.
Sure. Sure. Look, and the situation in the House is such that what Schumer and Biden and Hakeem Jeffries are trying to do is basically overtake the House, so that the House